Hey there my friend, Abby from Abbi Collections here, and in this tutorial I'm going to teach you how to install system fonts in Design Space, how to use specialty characters and where to find them, and how to organize and store your fonts so that they do not take up a bunch of space on your desktop or your hard drive on your computer. First, I want to talk to you about where you can find fonts. There are loads and loads of places you can find fonts online, free, paid. One of my favorite resources is Creative Fabrica. They have thousands and thousands of fonts. You can filter by, script fonts or display fonts, fonts that have decorative elements to them and specialty characters, which we'll be talking about here. So make sure you go and check them out. You can also get a free trial with them with the link that is below this video, so you can start downloading some of these fonts. So I am going to get started by actually walking you through downloading and installing the font onto your computer. So I'm going to click the download button here for this Happy Santa font. And I'm going to put it just here on my desktop computer. It ultimately doesn't matter. It might go straight to your downloads folder, but just take note of where it's going because you're going to need to navigate there. So here is the zip file that downloaded with the font files inside. Now you're going to need to unzip this. So I use a program called Better Zip on my Mac computer, but if you're on a PC, just right click and you'll be able to hit extract all. You can also usually double click on the zip folder when you're on a Mac in order to open it as well. So once you've unzipped, you'll just see a normal folder. Go ahead and click in there and you're going to see your font files. You're going to see two different formats. You'll see the .otf and you'll see the .ttf. I recommend sticking with the .otf if you can because it is a little bit of a richer font file. So that's the one I'm going to install on my computer. Ultimately, whatever you do, just make sure you only install one version of the format, not both versions, because then it could cause sort of like conflicting issues in your system. So just be aware of that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on this font. And it's going to give me a font preview, and then you should see an install option on your computer. If you're on a PC, this is going to look very similar. The boxes might just look a little different, but you will see an install button. So go ahead and click on that. You might get a momentary loading bar or not. Mine goes pretty quick, so there's no loading bar. I'm also going to do the same thing here with this one, and I'm going to click install. Then we're going to go over to Design Space. Now, if you've had Design Space already open and you don't see your font when we go to look for it, you may need to shut Design Space down and reopen it in order to get the font to appear. So just note that. You can also do something as simple as open a new window, click New Project. So here I am in a new project. I'm going to grab the text tool in the design panel on the left-hand side. I'm going to double click inside, and when you get that blue highlight, that means that you can put your cursor in there and you can edit the text that is in there. So I'm going to do the word Santa, and then I'm actually going to add another one. I'm going to do a few separate lines here. Please stop here, okay? So this would be like a little sign or something I might be making for my house. Santa, please stop here, okay? So now I want to change my font. So the first thing you need to do is make sure your font is highlighted. So again, double click inside that text box so that it is all selected there. If you wrote all of these lines in one text box, that's fine. You can absolutely do that by creating line breaks. You would just hit enter on your keyboard and you would go down and you can continue to type such as like that. So you can do line breaks just like that. So we want to double click inside. You want to go over to the font drop down. In the font drop down, you're going to see several options. First, you'll see Cricut fonts as a filter up here, system fonts, which is where we're headed. Any fonts you've bookmarked by clicking this little bookmark tab here, you'll see it turn green. And then you can also use the advanced filter tool here where you can filter by is it a writing font, multi-layer font, is it current, is this free? All of those options for you are available in those filters there. But because we used a system font and we installed that into our system, you want to head over to System, and then you want to type the name of the font that you're looking for. So my font is called Happy Santa. And if I type that in, you'll see that it filters by that duo font that we installed, meaning that there's two fonts here that are complementing each other. So I'm going to start by selecting this one up here. And when I do, you're going to see my text, or rather the font, on my screen change. So this one's super cute with all of its little cutouts. If you're cutting this out in vinyl or something, I would caution doing this. Too small would be very difficult, so make sure it's a larger. This would be going on a sign for me, so it'd be larger and be easy to read. So that's super cute, right? And then let's change this one to the other one. I'm gonna do double click in here and let's change it to this. And then I'll do the same thing here, like that, okay? So that's how easy it is to download a font to your computer, install it into your system fonts, and then find it here in Cricut Design Space to use. Now there's a couple steps you can go beyond in this if you really want to elevate your font skills, your text skills in Design Space. First, we can add things like specialty characters, but how do we find those specialty characters for this particular font? And we also want to think about, if we're downloading lots of fonts, how do we kind of keep them all organized, know what they all look like, what their names are, that kind of stuff, so we don't forget about them. So I love to use, I mentioned Creative Fabrica for a place to find fonts, but did you know that Creative Fabrica also has what's called a font cloud? So Creative Fabrica has created this font cloud for a place for you to store your fonts. Now, at the time of me making this video, this is free. I don't know what they're going to do in the future, but that is currently what I am using here. It's just this as a free program. It doesn't cost anything. So you can see all of the fonts that I have over here. Now, one thing you have to do is you have to actually upload them to the font cloud. So just because you installed the font on your computer doesn't mean it's going to appear here in this Creative Fabrica font cloud, like organizational library. You do need to drop the files there. So I'm going to come back over here to my Finder, and I'm just going to grab the formats here for my font that I just installed, and I'm going to just drag them over here, and it's going to load them here into this library of fonts basically. And the reason I like to do this is, one, if I ever change computers and I lose all my fonts or whatever, or you just want an easier way to reinstall them, you can come back here and you can download them again. Okay, so you can put them onto a new device or something like that, which is super, super handy. Another reason I like to do this is because once I bring them into here, I could delete them off of my hard drive and save myself space. So if you're someone who really needs to be super careful with the amount of space on your hard drive and you're downloading lots of fonts, just get them over here in this font cloud, and then you can get them off your hard drive. And if you ever need to re-download them, you can, but you don't have to keep them stored there inevitably on your hard drive. Now, my most favorite thing about this entire program is that you can type any preview text here, so you can preview all the fonts you currently have available to you at once, which really makes your life so much easier when you're trying to see, what do I want to use for my project? What's this going to look like? Because if you're like me, I take way too much time to pick a font, and I waste a lot of time doing that. So I'm just going to type the same phrase, Santa, please stop here. And these are all the fonts that I have. I've gotten many of these off Creative Fabrica. There's free ones online as well. There's other sites you can check out. So don't be afraid to do some Google searching on that as well. But if we scroll down here, I am getting a preview of what all of these fonts would look like with the phrase and the text that I typed in. So it makes it super handy to get a very quick glimpse of, ooh, I like the way that looks, or ooh, I don't like the way that looks, or anything like that. And I find that super helpful. Now, we need to find the font that I actually am using in Design Space, because I want to show you how to bring in the specialty characters. Remember, we used this Happy Santa font and we typed it out to look like this. So let me come over here and I'm going to type in Happy, and then we'll see Happy Santa. So we have the display and we have the Santa script. I'm going to click on the Santa script, and if we do that, it'll actually open up another menu just for this particular font, where we're not previewing all the fonts at once, but we're just previewing this font. So let's go ahead and type in Santa, please stop here, and you can do this with any font you installed. It's giving me that preview, and then if we scroll down here, you're going to see these specialty characters. And this one's super cute because it has Santa's sleigh going on the end of it. So I want to add to my P and both my P's, my front P and my P in the word stop, we're going to add these specialty characters. So I need to find that, and you need to make sure it's going the correct direction. So looking here, we have this P here with Santa's sleigh going this direction. And then if we look up here, we have this letter P going with the Santa sleigh the other direction. So make sure you're paying attention to the direction that the specialty character is going, because sometimes that is very specific to how you are working with, how you're styling your text and all of that. So I'm actually going to need one of each of these. So I've located this P here where the specialty character is going to our right hand side. I'm just going to click on that, and if you look at the top of the screen when I click on it, it's going to show character copied to clipboard. It'll just briefly show that. And then you want to come over to Cricut Design Space again. So here's the key part about making this work. We have that specialty character copied to our clipboard, but you have to make sure you have the exact same font selected for where you're about to copy this character in. If you do not have the same font selected, it's not going to show up. So I have that exact same Happy Santa script selected that I just pulled that specialty character from. You want to double click in here, and then you want to highlight just the character that you want to exchange for the specialty character. So once I have done that, again, double click, I click off here, double click, highlight with your cursor just that, in my case P, and I'm going to hold Command or Control V on my keyboard to paste it in. And now we have that specialty character that has been added. How cool is that? Let's repeat that one more time. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to grab this P that has the Santa sleigh going to the left-hand side. All I have to do is click on that and it copies it to my clipboard. Come back here. Again, make sure that correct font is selected. I'm going to double click, highlight just that front P letter there, and we're going to Command or Control V on your keyboard to paste that in. So let me know what questions you have about using specialty characters, adding system fonts to use in Design Space. I'd love to know. Go ahead and leave those questions below and I'll be happy to help you. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Abby, your friend in the pursuit of craftiness. I'll see you later, my friend. Bye for now.